We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for other mints. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices, I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for rubbing mints. Hush now, city kids. But you know, they wouldn't let you have it any other way.
Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Braith. That is the Fans Forum, and as always, joined by a wonderful panel, Darren, Ian, George, Pablo, Spenny and Barry. Good evening, chaps. And another point in the bag, 36 points away from relegation, Darren. And delighted with that performance, I bet you were. Let's look into the game first and foremost. A 1-1 draw, could have been a 2-1 defeat, could have been another red card for Newcastle United yesterday. But what did you make of that, Darren? Something positive.
Well, I've got a list of negativity for you, why you're not surprised.
Rolling out.
A massive list, Pablo. But it took away to get the game. Joe Linton should have been. If Shaw got sent off last week, how come Joe Linton didn't get sent off this week? It baffles me that. It was a close line from the WWF. John Cena would have been proud of that one. Jacob Murphy is absolutely rubbish. Honestly, he may have had a decent pre-season, but he was shocking yesterday. He's just no good. Get rid of him. Get rid of Longstaff too, because when Willett come on, Willett was more direct. Dan Burn for their goal that scored, Dan Burn was ball watching, and it was just by chance he nudged their attacker on, but it was a stroke of handball, but it was never a handball. That's a goal. We should have got beat all day long. Lucky from VAR to say it's a handball, but a lot of people say it wasn't a handball. But got lucky at that one. But there wasn't. We should have had chances to win it. But a draw is probably a fair result. But at the end, when they score, you're like, oh no, that's it. We played rubbish. Joe Linton does what Joe Linton had away from St James. He ball watches or falls asleep, but he gets tackled too easy. He needs to change on his game. But because of draw, I say 4 points is better than no points, but we need a massive improvement and we need to get players in. But don't get players, at least 2 in. Simpson and Dan Real has done a shocking job because it's a week left. We know we've got money there, but they're not spending it. They're messing about with Marcus Gave. He's too dear. Can't with somebody else. They've got scouters or something. They know they should go for them. So that's my rant here. I've been waiting all day for it, I went away for a nice weekend and I come back to watch the match. Kind of ruined my weekend.
Yes, Darren, and some people saying, have you got Darren in first to get the negativity out of the way? I do think there might be a little bit more negativity to come tonight just from them. I do want to pay respect to Sven-Goran Eriksson, by the way, lads. Take care of yourself and take care of your life. And it was his message at the weekend. And Sven-Goran Eriksson lost his battle today. And he will be remembered as a true legend of the game in many, many countries, but this one in particular for his time at England. So rest in peace, Sven. Ian, coming to you, mate. Did you have a good holiday?
Next question. It was a nice little week's break. I needed to get away. We just went in the wrong direction. We should have gone to Cornwall or something, but I thought, we couldn't be bothered with the drive, so we went to Scotland and it absolutely peed it down for a week. It stopped raining for about 4 hours one day, and that was it. So, but Tommy had a good time. We all had a good time. Nobody had argued. We were stuck in a caravan for 7 days, so that's pretty good going. You know what I mean? Especially when I'm there. So we had a good time, mate.
We had a good holiday from you, mate. So thanks for coming back.
I know.
There's no swearing.
Only joking, mate. Only joking. Well, we're a bit concerned that we hadn't heard from you, so at least we know you're alive. You didn't have any internet, so you're back. But you saw the game. You'll have seen the highlights at least. But what was your take on that? I mean, I've tried to be positive. It's 4 points from 2 games, and we haven't played well yet.
4 points from 2 games, playing really, really poor it's more than we deserve, let's put it that way. First 13 minutes or so, whatever it was, 13, 14 minutes, I actually thought that we looked pretty good. Bruno seemed to boss that first little section while he could. I don't know which Joe Linton that was. I think his twin brother who can't kick his own arse with can't kick his own ass was out yesterday. Like, he was awful. He was slow, wasn't reading the game. I felt like he looked pissed off about something. He looked really like, I think early doors he didn't get a foul and he was stamping his feet like a little kid. He was like really like, just didn't look his usual self, you know. For me, I'd have had Big Joe off at half time. I thought he was a liability. He wasn't doing anything for me.
Longstaff was a liability.
Yeah, but at least Longstaff was, at least Longstaff looked like he was trying. That's my point.
Call that trying on Longstaff.
Big Joe just didn't. For me, he wasn't giving 100%, which is really strange to say about Joe. But that's the way it looked to me, to my eye. So. We can go over the negative points. There's no point really. I think Darren sort of touched on most things there. Positives were the game changed when we brought Harvey Barnes on and Trips. If Trips goes now, I will be disappointed unless we get good money for him, because I think he's worth more to us this season than 15 million quid. Keeping him in. He looked like he started, like there was a bit of discipline when he came on the field. People started doing the jobs better. He was talking to everyone. And that's not taking anything really away from Tino. Tino did a few things really well, a few things not that well. But he was by far nowhere near the worst player on the pitch. Anthony Gordon, apart from the goal, I'm trying to work out how to say this without swearing, but he really, really, really actually peed me off yesterday, his lack of effort. Until Trippier came on, Gordon, for me, I'd never seen him track back. I didn't see him do anything. He really, for me, his attitude wasn't right. Whether that's due to another article that came out in the morning before the match. I know that someone printed something about Liverpool again. I don't know what's going on with him. But he seemed to pull his finger out and he did score the goal. He could have had a goal in the first half, by the way, when Isak sent that great cross across. If he'd have committed, I was going, what's he doing? Run from like he was 30 yards out, and I knew that ball was coming. Anyone with eyes can see it coming, and it was like he was picking his arse or something. I don't know what he was doing, but he was 2 meters away from a tap-in, and that for me is not good enough for him. He's set himself really high standards, and he's not meeting them. But towards the end, we did get better. We got lucky with the handball, although I always, above the shoulders, an handball for me. Anything there is a handball, and it was there. So I don't know what the big fuss is about. And we were lucky, but I don't know where this sleeve thing comes in. But it never.
I did laugh with Jamie Redknapp. He made an absolute pig's ear of trying to explain it. He described something called an upper shoulder. Tell me what an upper shoulder is, please. He realised he'd made a mistake. And he realised he couldn't get out of it. So he designed a new part of the anatomy. He called it an upper shoulder. But yeah, I mean, it's all about opinions. It's all about opinions. And the VAR, the only opinion that matters is the person in charge of VAR, Ian. And we've been
we got one anyway. We've had them go against us enough times. So whether it was lucky or whatever, we got it anyway. So I'm buzzing with that. So yeah, that's all I've really got to say on it. I thought we were lucky, being honest, to get away with it. They could have scored more goals. We were poor, but again, like you say, 4 points out of 6 in 2 games that arguably we could have got no points from, really. So yeah, I'm happy that we've got the points, but not overly happy with the performances. And there's something not right behind the scenes, but. If you remember back to last season, every time I came out and said that, the next game we were absolutely mint. So fingers crossed that happens. You know what I mean? It's hopefully they can pull the fingers out of the backsides and get back to doing what we usually do. Can I do my little shout out though, Steve?
You can, mate. Yes, of course you can.
Thank you, mate. Right, I'm going to put a link in the chat for anybody who wants to help my friend's son. He's doing a charity skydive. He's 17-year-old and he's doing it for teenage cancer charity. His younger brother, who's probably watching right now, Albert, as I call him, he's 13. He's just getting over his second bout of cancer, which he doesn't mind me telling people. He's the hardest little bugger you'll ever meet in your life. I've just smashed him at pool though at the pub, by the way. And
I bet you did.
I did, yeah. He's rubbish at pool. But no, he's not. Good. But yeah, so his brother's bravely decided he's going to do a skydive. We're already, they've already raised, I think, over 700 quid when I was looking at the last time. Want to get it over £1,000 if we can, because it's 500 quid to do the jump. So that'll be 500 quid going to the teenage cancer charity. If we get it over £1,000, I'll shave my head. That's a incentive. I know Daz has already said he'll send us a tenner, and I'll put it in for him. So yeah, if anybody can help out with that, he's doing it on the 1st of September, so all the donations have to be in pretty much this week. And I will have my head skinned if we get over £1,000. So if anybody can help, that'd be really appreciated. And appreciate you letting us do that, Steve, because obviously we've got the dementia charity that we support, and so you're obviously you always support us with stuff I'm doing anyway.
Yeah. So please stick that in the chat, Ian. If everybody watching tonight can at least donate something, that would be fantastic. Obviously, once they get to £1,000, I know there's a few of you out there who can donate a little more than £1, but please just donate, and every pound counts. We'll stick that. Ian's going to stick that in the chat, and we'll give it another push before the end of the show. George, just before you give your opinion on the game, I mean that was his starting lineup yesterday. Pope obviously played in goal. Kraft came in, of course, for Fabian Schär, because obviously Schär was suspended after the sending off against Southampton. And Lloyd Kelly came in for Lewis Hall. The surprise on the bench was Ruddy, of course, was the goalkeeper. We later found out that Dubravka hadn't travelled due to getting concussion when he was training ahead of the game. Trippier was on the bench, and judging by the media furore that was surrounding the game, that was a bit of a surprise, I think, for everybody as well. Barnes, of course, Target, Asula, Hall, Almiron, Willock, and Alex Murphy were on the bench as well. And I think the lads have already mentioned it. The substitutes did change the game, and I'll take a positive in that Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall spent a lot of time debating on the sidelines and made the changes early enough to affect the game. So for me, it was a positive, George. I didn't walk away from that game feeling disappointed, and I think the stats probably back us up, George. There's the match stats, and bearing in mind that Newcastle last week at home
albeit with 10 men, of course, were woeful with the amount of possession that they had. Newcastle went away from home yesterday and bossed the game. 61% possession in the game, 14 shots on goal, 5 of them on target, more on target than the actual home team, and a good percentage of passes as well by Newcastle. A lot of people who I heard reviewing the game afterwards saying that Newcastle couldn't find the man with a pass. Well, the stats don't back that up, because the pass accuracy was 79%. We've already had somebody say that Newcastle were dirty, and I've heard people saying it to me this morning who I've seen it bumped into. Newcastle are a dirty team; they want to watch it. But yeah, Joe Linton, was lucky not to get a red card yesterday. But again, the stats don't back it up. Bournemouth kicking us off the pitch at times, and Newcastle only committed 8 fouls. Yellow cards, 2 apiece. It can happen, and that's that. But all in all, George, those stats tell you a completely different story to what our eyes probably are telling us.
Well, what the stats annoy me about is that we've got that much possession away from home. Why haven't we got 3 points? You would normally expect that amount of possession anyway, but particularly away from home, to at least come away with the points. First 15 minutes, somebody's already said it. It looked like it was going to be a cakewalk. If we got a goal in that first 15 minutes, I think it would have been easy peasy. But for some reason, we switched off, or Bournemouth changed something, but we just disappeared to half time. And for the first time, I mean, I criticised him bitterly quite a lot on here, Eddie Howe, about the fact that he hasn't got a plan B, and when he has, he applies it too late. Well, thank goodness at Bournemouth, he applied plan B and he did it at half time, because there's no question we were a different team when we came out for the second half, and he deserves the credit for that. People criticising Gordon, he wasn't at his best, and people saying looks as though he wants away. I find it amazing, but I shouldn't, because it's Newcastle United, how people always easily pick up all the negative stuff. If you go on the internet and look for Anthony Gordon, there's so many pieces of video where he's talking about how he loves it here, how he's grown up because he came here, the plaudits he gives the club and the training staff and the fans, it's just enormous. And yet all these people that were saying he wants to go to Liverpool and all the rest of it obviously don't look at any of that. Well, of course they don't, because it's Newcastle United. It's got to be negative. Same with Jamie Redknapp. You're absolutely right, Steve. He talked himself into a hole because he definitely wanted to down Newcastle United. He wanted to prove that Newcastle United were getting away with something. And when you do that, you paint yourself into a corner. So we shouldn't be surprised with all of that. But an upper shoulder. My upper shoulder is somewhere on the top of my bloody head, silly sort. It's just depressing when you hear them. But the fact is, with that amount of possession and the passes that went through, we should have won that game hands down. That we didn't, there's a number of reasons. One of them, I have to say, as people have picked it up already, Joe Linton was the old Joe Linton. That's the Joe Linton I used to come home and complain to Marjorie about that we saw yesterday. Why, I have no idea, but he really was off song yesterday, and very lucky to stay on the pitch. There's no question about that. Others that did well, I thought Lloyd did well. I thought Dan Burn, apart from the goal, Darren's absolutely right. Dan Burn was ball watching, and he shouldn't have been. But the rest of the time, the back four were quite strong. And Emil Kraft doesn't get credit for the hard work he does either, in my opinion. But I would have no hesitation in putting, after Hall coming on at the second half, putting Lloyd in the middle and Hall at left back, and trying that. But again, we won. We didn't win. We got a point, and didn't play well. Well, we didn't play well all of the game, but the second half we were certainly a whole side better than we were in the middle part of the first half. Middle part of the first half were absolute rubbish, but yet was still lost the possession. that's the contradiction in terms, really. Winning and getting points when you're not playing well is not a bad thing. But I think it's that sort of season that, in my view, that we'll be like that for a couple of games, like we have been. Let's hope we do something at Forest this week, because I've got a sneaking fancy somebody at St James's Park's going to get a thumping when we all go on fire on all barrels, on all cylinders rather, and I'd be delighted with that. That would be absolutely great. I would like to have seen more of the new youngster or the new young centre forward, but how does what he does, and we've got to accept that. I can't defend Murphy this time. He was abysmal on against Bournemouth. There's no doubt about it. It wasn't Sean Longstaff's best game, but he never stopped trying. You always get 100% out of Sean Longstaff, and it's always in a positive sense. As I say, he's the only midfielder that we've got whose first thought is to play the ball forward in attack. He still, even though he wasn't on his best form, was the one midfielder that kept trying to push us forward in an attacking sense. So, not the best game. We got a point out and nothing. Could have lost it because I, like many, thought that we got away with something, but VAR decided it. So VAR, being harsher as sometimes. Perhaps this time was our time to get one back. So let's hope we turn out a better performance for Forest. I couldn't help but notice that for Brighton, Minty was starring, and for Forest, Anderson was starring at the weekend. Let's hope that they leave their boots in the dressing room when they come against Newcastle. But yeah, everybody's, what I've heard from the lads is right. Not the best of games, but we got a point when played absolutely abysmally.
Lee, cheer us up, mate. I mean, I've got people trying to wind us up in the chat, going on about goalkeepers now. I mean, we do need a keeper. I mean, we've only got 5.
Any more keepers? We do not need any more keepers.
We've only got 5. No, I mean,
save that for later.
I showed those stats there, Pablo, and it's we got a point, mate. We got a point at somewhere where we lost 2-0 last year. We didn't get any points at Bournemouth last year.
Yeah, we'll go for positives, mate, because I do feel a certain way at the moment, and I don't want to call it negative. I just want to call it frustrated. Because
negative is much better though.
No, because I'm not a boo boy, and I wouldn't slam them, but I do feel frustrated at certain things at the minute. But as regards to the Bournemouth result, to snatch a draw, I mean, to be fair, we could have gone on and won it in the second half. It was kind of jumping off your sofa kind of stuff, wasn't it? First half, exactly the same at Southampton, 2 yards off. And I thought, oh no, here we go, not again, come on. He made his changes at half time. Throughout the second half. And this is one point I want to make. I mentioned it in our group chat this week, and I've been thinking about how I kind of get it across today. I felt for a season, and it's proven right this season, we seem to start the first half. Now, either it's excellent game management, as the term is these days, and he's got us, basically set up to go and snatch a win, which is fine when you go to places like Bournemouth, but it's only fine if you get something from it. So if you're playing a top team and you snatch a draw with excellent game management, then that's a result. Or a win against a side like Bournemouth, that's a result. For me, is it because he's not selecting the first 11 correctly? Has he not got enough information on the opposition? Is there something that he's lacking that's not giving him that impetus that he sends the lads on in the second half? And it does change games, that we can all visibly see it. So I'm asking people, what is it? Is it something that he's holding back because he's a master tactician? Or is it because clearly he just can't see the information in front of him to go out and attack teams? So if you look at that over a season, in my eyes, we're wasting 45 minutes of every game trying to feel out an opposition. That's half a season wasted. That's my frustration. That's the point that I want to make on that. But yeah, as regards to the Bournemouth result, you take a 1-1 away at Bournemouth because it is a difficult Bournemouth, Brighton, Fulham, all them teams, they're all difficult to go away at. What else do I want to say? Joe Linton and Gordon, you would literally, you'd hang your cap on them for 100% as every week last season and the season before. And for some reason this season, they just don't seem at the races as yet. Now, whether that's fitness, whether that's attitude, whether that's something going on, but them lads are dependable that you can rely on for effort 100% every week, and I'm just not seeing it. Longstaff, top of the championship at best. Jacob Murphy, much the same, like I said in the chat. I just hope there's some faces coming in this week, mate, because I think the whole fan base, in simplistic terms, feels the way I do at the moment, albeit we don't want to feel like that, and we're hoping for better. It's just, for me at the moment, I feel downtrodden.
I understand why people can feel downtrodden, and you know, I think a lot of people will feel better by the time we come to the weekend and we're still in the Carabao Cup and the transfer window is over. You know, when the transfer window closes, there'll be a breath of, you know, fresh air blowing around the ground, because we'll have a couple of players in, and Newcastle fans will be a bit happier. But huge hangover over the club, I think, since Amanda and Mirdad left, and somebody's said that in the chat as well. I have pinned the link in the chat. It's took a while for me to get on there for Ian's mate's skydive. Now, Ian will shave his hair off if we get to £1,000 tonight. £752 raised
this week, Steve.
Yeah, not live on air. You'll come back on the Amigos on Friday to prove it. But it's at 752 quid. So if we can get 248 quid off people watching tonight, there's 791 people watching. Just a quid off everybody would do.
Amazing.
But yeah, if we can get it to £1,000 tonight, the link is pinned at the top of the chat. So please donate tonight, and let's see where we can get it. But it stands at 752 quid at the moment. I'll give an update later. Okay, Spenny, quick review on the old match, please, from yourself yesterday.
Positives, we got a point because we don't usually get anything from there. We could have easily won the game when Brown was shot. Hell of a save by the goalkeeper, could have gone in the top corner. For me, it was after, I agree with Darren and George said, the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we played well, and Murphy was playing well as well. Going down that channel, get the crosses in for me. But all of a sudden, the dynamics changed. But Murphy seemed to know he went right back and coming into the midfield too much. And it seemed though Gordon and Mizik went up front just by themselves and no more support. I was confused for about half an hour watching that game, to be honest. What the hell was going on? Who's playing right back? Who's playing left back here? Who's playing centre back? Because they all just went back for some reason behind the halfway line, and we were dominating the play. I think the first 10 minutes, Bournemouth weren't even in our half. We were in their half. The first 10 minutes, they couldn't get in our half, and all of a sudden the tactics changed, and we all went tits up. For me, I just couldn't understand why players were going down there in the right positions. Like Murphy was in the first 10 minutes, trolling down that wing, because it was a target, that right back. It was easy, and it was going to be easy done. I just couldn't get my head around it. After the first 10 minutes of the game, yes, Joe Linton had a day off. I don't know what was going on with Joe Linton, but Gordon is still in pre-season. He hasn't had any games. This is probably the third game he's ever played since the Euros, and he only played 30 minutes there. So I think, looking at that game on Sunday, I think the team didn't look fit. They didn't look fit. They didn't run as much as they have been in the end of the season.
No intensity, was there?
There was no intensity, like you just said, Ian. There was no like even in the middle of the park, Bruno. He wasn't putting them lovely passes in to Gordon or Isaac. And Isaac was more on the right all the time than the centre. And when he was passing in the centre, there was nobody there.
You know the kid who got in to come and watch any injuries. It's really got something to do with him. That intensity.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why he's just changing tactics and he's getting told by up and above what to do with these scenarios on his A-plug. But it's totally wrong what's happening here. We are classed as an intensity team that goes forward and pushes on and breaks down the defence. Now, at the moment, these last two games, we do the intensity protect so long and then we just drop back and defend as though we shit ourselves that we're going to let 3 or 4 goals in and don't think about what defenders we got and don't trust them to defend. I think he made the balls up, putting the new signing put in and dropping Hall. I would never have dropped Hall and left back. And then he had a terrible game, mind, for me. Your name and Gordon and Joe Linton, the left back, had a terrible game for me. He was outpaced and he's supposed to be a pacey defender. I think he's just a centre back, to be honest. I was thinking he was a left centre back. That's where he should be playing. He shouldn't be playing left back for me.
The big old lad.
I was screaming and shouting at that telly. Make a change. Get the young one on for Sheffield United. Get the young one on. Get him in the middle, and you got Isaac and Gordon there. Get the crosses in and get him and give him a chance. He's got two class players next to them. Get him in. But he didn't even touch him. He didn't even think about it and put him on. So I don't know what the hell was going on.
As soon as Joe Willett come on, he was more direct.
That's all we wanted. We wanted pace in that midfield. We had no pace in that midfield at all. We had no pace at all, Darren. We had no pace in that midfield at all, Darren.
You know?
The 3 midfielders were just tackling. And yes, Bournemouth were dirty, but we'd give it back, mind. And Joe Linton should have been sent off, and they should have had a goal.
Joe Willett getting 2 people straight away, and it was full of pace. He hadn't anyone there with him, and pace was too fast for anybody.
For me, if that was only a different shoot, and that was Newcastle, like Alan Shearer said on his thing, he said if Newcastle had a goal disallowed because what happened to his arm, they'll be flipping egg on. Because the referee never went to the screen.
He won't claim the toll.
No. So for me, we've got away with it. It's a draw, where a place where we never get points, like Southampton. We never get points, and it's a point. It's 3 points extra than what we had this time last season. Bring Tonali in. It's always against these teams. These teams who knock you off the ball, who tackle you, we struggle. We need Tonali in that team to bully these players because we're getting bullied all over the park. That's all I've got to say.
Spenny, what do you think about Jamie Redknapp?
Jimmy Redknapp is good. There's Ian's goatee. If he doesn't shave it up, I'm not giving him an extra fiver.
I think he's been wearing too many what do you call them? Them shoeless shoes for Skechers.
Jimmy Redknapp lives on his father's fucking reputation. He got into Liverpool and he played in a great team in Liverpool.
He hates Newcastle Redknapp. He hates us.
He's a no.
Yeah. Well,
Liverpool Man United TV is shit. I'm never going to watch Sky again.
Say what you think, Spenny.
Spenny said there'd be a rant. He's certainly given us one. Just a big thank you to everybody who is donating as we speak. Some people have donated as anonymous, but thanks to George Hayes, who often supports these things that we do. 50 quid he's donated from America. Roy Morton Trovag, thank you very much as well. £15 donated. Roger Cooch donated a fiver. NUFC Don has donated a tenner. So I can see more people saying that they're going to donate tonight as well. £836 it stands at the minute. It needs to be a grand tonight. Before we go off air, please, so that we can make sure that Ian has a nice shave.
It's all coming off. I'll just leave me little fatty tick.
No, off. Get it off as well.
That's all.
Get
me a look, just that bit there.
No, off.
All right, Barry.
George should shave it off.
Barry, will come to you, mate. Just give us your views on the game. It's not been a very positive panel, which I didn't expect it to be perfectly honest, after yesterday's performance.
It's hard because obviously the lads have covered pretty much all the relevant stuff. I think they're spot on about the midfield. I thought we seem to have fell into that way. If the midfield doesn't play well, then the team doesn't work. Probably because so much of our ball is played through them, and we rely on the likes of Bruno to play the ball forward to the two wingers. I did think Gordon was poor. I agree. As much as I hate to say it, I thought Murphy didn't have the best of games. I thought Barnes was a revelation coming on. I think he looked absolutely class when he came on. So did Trips, to be honest. I was listening to it and thinking, is his head going to be in it after all the crap that's been going round about him? And I thought he had an absolute class game. For me, I agree with Spenny. I don't think Kelly should have played. I think he should have either gone with Hall, or whether there's an issue with Hall, he should have maybe played Trips at left back to give chance to Hall to come in gradually at that position. There seems to be something holding him back. Kelly's he's another Dan Burn, isn't he? He's not a left back. He's a centre half who's left footed. He didn't look right, and I think it was an awful hard game for him to come in as his first match. Totally agree with Spenny as well. I think the young kid should have been brought on, the young striker. I didn't see the harm in it. I thought we were going for it. We were getting stuck in towards the end of the second half. We had some decent chances. We were at them. But then every time they came down the other end of the pitch, it looked like they were going to score. So it was, I've got any fingernails left again today because I was sitting sort of listening to that side of it where I just thought that this could go either way here. I think, like you said, Steve, we've got 4 points from 2 games. 2 games we shouldn't have really gotten anything from. My worry is, obviously, as we mentioned before, if we get beat of Forest and we go out the cup because we're not playing particularly well, and then we'll get twonked off Tottenham at the weekend, it's going to be in a lot worse state. I would like to have hopefully seen signs yesterday that we're going to improve from the first game, and I didn't see it. I think we struggled. I've still got faith in Eddie that it's one of those things that the season starts and it takes a while for them to get going. I thought Joe Willock looked class when he came on. I thought that was a huge plus. I would love to see them find a way to get Barnes and Gordon to work in the same team. I know a lot of people said Gordon shouldn't have been moved across to the other side, but for me, it worked. I thought Gordon, they seemed to work quite well together, and I would love to see them try that a bit more. But again, it doesn't seem to be something Howe's happy to do. I think he either wants to play Murphy or Almiron on the right-hand side, which for me, then Barnes doesn't get a game because he's not going to get past Gordon. And I think he's going to be great for us this season. Glad we didn't get beat. And I do agree. I think the handball was harsh. I don't think that should have disallowed them a goal, but personally, I'm glad we got the point.
Before I welcome Kev to the show, I just want to thank everybody, as always, in the NUFC Matters community for when a charity needs help, you jump on the board straight away. We asked if you could get to £1,000, and you've done it in 20 minutes. Thank you very much for that. Big thanks to Alan.
Cheers, lads and lasses. Thank you very much.
50 quid from them. Mark Law chucked in a tenner. And another anonymous bidder put in £10. But George Hayes, as he's often done in the past, he's a bit of an unsung hero in the NUFC Matters chat. He put another £114 in at the 50 quid that he stuck in. So 164 in total. That's £1,020 it stands at. So hopefully that helps massively. Look forward to seeing you on the Amigo on Friday as Ian Bulls as me and George. Looking forward to that.
I'm going to go. I'll get me clippers back out of the warmed up.
Oh, you've got to get the bobbers, get it shaved off.
Tell you what, if we do another 500 quid, do we do a back sack and crack for another 5 tons?
I'm going to be able to do it.
You've got some poor. I do like the fact that Ian's made this all about himself. You've got some poor bugger jumping out of a plane, risking his life, and everybody in the chat saying, everyone's saying, good luck to Ian for shaving his hair off.
Right, they're watching now and they're messaging us actually as we speak. Francis is like Dodsy, the dad's like a really good pal of mine, and he's like, Francis is well buzzing, but he's really pissed off with you for telling everyone in front of you beat him at pool. And so no, Murphy, who's doing the jump, says he can't believe the support of the Toon Army, so it's really appreciated. And I knew you had sorted out. You always do. You know what I mean? So thanks, Stephen. Thanks,
good luck, Murphy. All the best, and hopefully it goes a long way to helping out. Kev, good evening. Just want to have a chat about the match before we go to a later ad break. And I've also had a question sent in from Steve Hasty for the panel tonight, which is quite good. So we're going to do that. So we'll probably slightly overrun tonight, which will please some of you out there. Slightly longer show. But yeah, Kev, give us your views on yesterday's game. As you can imagine, Darren's cast a spell of negativity by being first, and it's never really ended.
I'll try to be positive, but however, I'm not surprised. But never mind. Ultimately, we were sloppy for 65 minutes of that game. We couldn't pass water. Essentially, we give the ball away in ridiculous areas. I mean, their first goal was, well, their only goal, but Joel Linton dribbling in the centre of the park is not like him. And Bruno was doing the same to try and attract attention, to protect, but they were right at us in terms of the central midfield and broke up play pretty well. But when we did get in and beyond their midfield, and if you watch the clips from the club, actually, that's what the focus of the training was, of longer balls into the forward and keep the ball away around their midfield and break a line. That's what it's called, to where then we can advance, then we can maybe get something out of the attack, but that didn't occur. But for me, tactically it was fine, but we pretty much played like a 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. I don't think it looked disjointed. I don't think anybody knew what they were doing. But the changes that he made pretty much changed the game as a whole. With Trippier coming on, Barnes on the left, I agree with, play going on the right instead of having inverted wingers, having actual wingers who can go down the outside. And Barnes changed the game. I mean, for Anthony Gordon's goal, it was a brilliant delivery that he put in. But again, I thought it was just disjointed. It was flat. It was slow. I don't know. From my perspective, when I seen it, when I was watching it on TV, it was when the pitch, when that Bournemouth sun got on it, it slowed the game down, and it seemed like we couldn't again pass the ball. It was odd, and like it was sticky. It was like the ball wasn't moving as quick, and like within the first 15 minutes or so, or whatever it was. But then we just dropped off and stopped playing and allowed them get into the game. Their right winger, but I can't remember his name at this point. It evades me. The right winger who,
Sinema.
Yeah. He was the best player on that park, and that's what you look for in a right winger. I felt sorry for Lloyd Kelly, to be honest, even though you knew him from last year and all the rest of it. But I don't think Hall would have been able to deal with him either. I was thinking to myself, do you go to a 3? Do you change it that way? How do you push Tino Livramento forward, or is a right winger or whatever shape? So. It was an interesting one. I disagree with you, Barry, and it's an opinion, but I think the decision from VAR was the correct one. In terms of hitting the arm, it's from shoulder down to your fingertip. That's a handball. But again, well, read the rules. It's shoulder down to your fingertip.
I don't care what you said. Ball cannot be precise. Ball cannot guarantee that decision because it was so close.
Well, it swings and roundabouts at the end of the day.
I know,
so
VAR, you telling me VAR know 100% that finish string? No way.
Well, it hit his sponsor. So, but hey, look, we'll agree to disagree.
If it was the other way around, would you want to?
But you have to get over it. You have to move on. You get away with one, and I thought it was going to be a smash and grab, and I thought if we applied the pressure and had a bit more, we had a bit more quality in the final third, because you had Joel Linton shouldering the ball, and the keeper made a decent save. If he gets his head on that, and that's in the back of the net. Dan Burn with his chance, keeper made a good save. If they go in and it's a completely different game and it's a completely different conversation what we'll have tonight. So ultimately, like Barry said again, it's 4 points from 2 games. You'll take it, but at the same time, it's not pretty, But I've seen some people in the comment in terms of Eddie Howe's under pressure. Yeah, he is, because you know, it's a high pressure job. Football's high pressure jobs, you know, and you got to get results, but he's getting results. It might not be the prettiest thing in the world to watch, but at the same time, you get results and you get points. And that's ultimately that's what in the game for to do. And so, yeah, it was a hard watch, a very hard watch. But at the same time, you come away from Bournemouth, one of the longest trips of the season, with a point away from home in the Premier League. You'll take it all day long. But I thought we could have done a little bit better, obviously. But not complaining. 4 points still, what, 7th, 8th. Haven't looked at the table, but we're still up there. We're still contending. We're still trying to find our feet. But we'll see what happens moving forward.
2 points off the top, and the treble's still on, lads. 100%. Stop laughing. Big thank you to Neil Hawkins, Michael Murray, Paul Hepplewhite, Rachel, and John Shaw as well for their donations. £1,070 it's at. A big
Brilliant.
Skydive for a great cause. And Ian,
Keep them coming. Keep them
Yeah.
coming. I'm not
Keep
shaving my. I'm not doing the back sack and crack, but
yeah, he's agreed to do his hair.
If we get another 400 quid, Pablo will shave his beard off.
Ooh. That's because that's my comfort blanket, mate. You can't take my comfort blanket off me.
It's time for the ads.
A big thanks to all our sponsors. Skips and Bins. You can find their website at skipsandbins.com. Contact us, www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. Their website, mrvickies.co.uk. Email info@mrvickies.co.uk. Telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to United Group Travel. They are the Travel and Tourism Award winners in 2024. Their website, www.unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com or telephone 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. A big thanks to Media Arts. You can find them at www.media-arts.co.uk. And don't forget, we are a podcast. You can find us on iTunes or Spotify or other podcast providers. If you want to help the channel grow, then hit the like button, the little thumb underneath the video, click share and share to your social media, or join the channel for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to take out a one-off payment membership, go to nufcmatters.com and hit membership. And for a £25 fee, you get a scarf, a cup, a pen, and a membership card. You can also put a smartphone over the top of this QR code. It'll take you straight there. And don't forget, we also help the food bank on this channel. nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk is a website where you can make a virtual donation today.
And just a reminder that the only membership now will be via the YouTube channel. I will be changing the ads this week, so that will be reflected in the new set of adverts. And a big thank you to everybody who subscribed to the NUFC Matters fanzine, which is out in October. 4 issues for £20. All proceeds going to Dementia Matters. Thanks to Beverly at United Group Travel, who has agreed to sponsor the printing bill for all 4. We've got 53 subscribers now. George Hayes has now become the latest subscriber. Big thanks to Andrew Hutchinson, Denise Applewhite, Richard Rafferty, Paul Mood, Paul Smith. We've also got Chris, Michael Story, and Robert Newton, Bernie Simpson, and Aston Stevenson, who've also subscribed. So big thank you to everybody who's committed to that. Would like to sell all 200 by subscription. So newcastlelegends.com is where you need to go to subscribe. And you can also get tickets for the highly anticipated return of the Long Sands, which is the guys who do our opening music on all of our podcasts. They have agreed to get together for Dementia Matters on Saturday, January the 4th. And that's at the Clooney in Newcastle. You can get your tickets at newcastlelegends.com now. Pre-sale price of £15. If you want to pay on the door, it'll be an extra £5. And got great support there from another couple of local bands, Lilac Lane and the Chris Norris Band. So a great musical night ahead with the Long Sands doing a full band gig for the first time in it'll be in a year because they'll have played at Blythe Festival this year. But great to have the lads back and for a good cause. Okay, Steve Hasty of Three Amigos fame has sent us in a question today, and it is for the panel. And seeing as though Kevin always goes last, Kevin, you can go first on this one. So a question for the bottom row first, and it's from Steve Hasty. He says, in view of some indifferent performances coming out of the first 2 games of the season, what does Eddie Howe do for Wednesday? 1, freshen up with outing for squad players from the start. 2, play his first choice 11, hoping they finally click. 3, rest the likes of Bruno, Gordon and Pope. 4, play a mix of first team and youngsters and risk progressing in a cup competition that should always be a target to win.
Well, Steve, that's an interesting question. Good night. We'll be here a while. No, for me, it's a difficult one because you just don't know what Forest's intentions are. You know, what do they really want out of the cup? But so I would play 75% of his first team squad. Probably give Tonali a run out, get minutes in his legs, play Trippier right back, get minutes in his legs, give Harvey Barnes a start. So again, it all goes down to the squad depth that we have, and those that have been coming on. For argument's sake, Miggy coming on for 2 minutes. It's not, it might not be the greatest footballer in the world, but at the same time, he needs minutes in his legs. He needs to play. So give them. I wouldn't go with a lot of youth. I might have some on the bench. Goalkeeping department's going to be an issue. Is it going to be Dubravka? Don't know. I haven't heard. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. The Greek lad on loan, whatever. Take him back to his old club and have a worldie. I don't know. So for me, it'd be again 75% of the first team who start and get us through the game, and whoever, Bruno, maybe rest Joe Linton, maybe bring Joe Willock in, because I thought he was fantastic at the weekend. So he needs minutes, he needs game time. But again, put those others on the bench and not have a little sprinkling of youth in there to come on and maybe impact the game, because they'll be, as a young player, you're all excited to get even a call up to the first team squad. So I'll go as strongest as possible that Eddie Howe sees fit for the game. But again, it's how Forrest's going to approach the game as well. So he's got to probably take that into consideration. So yeah, I'll go with as strong as he possibly can and just rotate slightly, and not in terms of shape or formation, but in just general personnel who was on the bench this past weekend, and bring in and start those lads.
Okay. Big thanks to everybody watching on Twitter, by the way. We've got 450 or so watching on YouTube, but the rest of you watching on Twitter, jump onto YouTube, search NUFC Matters, hit the subscribe button, please. It does us a big favour. We do 7 shows a week. So, Lee, really, Steve Hasty's question, an abridged version, was what would you do on Wednesday? Are you going to change it? Are you going to leave it? Are you going to go for a mix of youth and experience? What are you going to do on Wednesday? This is a cup that Newcastle really should be targeting as a potential, a potential trophy in the cabinet at some point.
I think there's a very easy answer, mate. Whatever team Eddie thinks is going to come out in second half, play it in first half. No, but going a bit more in depth on that, because we seem to do all right in second half. So do that, Eddie. It works. Trust me. No, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Nottingham Forest are similar to us. The Carabao Cup is realistically their only chance of them doing anything. So you've got to assume that they're going to put a strong side out. I'd keep, like Kev said, predominant. In fact, I would keep first team players, but just looking on form in the last couple of games, you've got to give Willock a bash. You've got to give Barnes a bash. Trippier, you've just got to mix it slightly, but still with the crux of the first team players. I wouldn't go youth, because all you're doing is you're signing your own death warrant. And we as fans, if he goes out of the cup, he's going to get a fair blast from the fan base if he plays anything other than a strong side or what we deem as a strong side. So I don't think he'll go down that route. I think it needs maybe 2, 3, 4 tweaks. But other than that, we're going to have to go strong because I'm pretty sure that Forest will be going strong. So I don't know what option that was, mate. That was a mixture of everything, was it?
Yeah. I mean, there isn't an answer to it, is it? It's just your opinion. What would you do if you were in his position?
If John Ruddy's got his pension in by then, I'd put John Ruddy in for crack.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, Dubravka had concussion at the weekend.
Yeah.
It's the reason he missed. You know, why he went with Ruddy on the bench, who knows? But you know, let's see what happens let's see what happens over the course of the next few days. You know, the link with Trafford's in there as well. Will be, we will wait and see. No conjecture or speculation on this show, please.
I was just on that, mate, as you've said there. If Trafford comes in, is he happy playing second fiddle? Because he's one of them keepers that has left a club to go and get first team football, presumably play every week, and he wouldn't play every week for us. In fact, I'd say his chances would be, I don't know, what, 60%? 70%?
90%.
So it's an interesting move, that Trafford one, for me.
If it's a move at all, who knows?
I
thought we were going to sign a centre-half from Crystal Palace for the last 6 weeks, but that hasn't happened either. I thought we were going to sign Osherman. We haven't.
You've been playing too FIFA.
There's 224 names on Barry's list. We haven't signed one of them. Spenny, what would you do on Wednesday?
Play the team after. Tell Eddie to play. Full team. You're going to win the cup at competition. You've got to play the full team, especially against the Premier League team. You've got to play the best team of your ability if you want to win a cup. So playing the weakness side is a load of crap. You should be playing Gordon and Barnes. Izzy up front. You should be playing Lewis Hall at left back. Kelly at centre back. Should be playing Trippier at right back because for me, our cup tie Trippier in case he buggers up, because I want Trippier to stop here for me.
Yeah.
And that's the team I would play. And Pope's carrying an injury, which I said last week when he went down. He's got an ankle injury. That's why we're going for Trafford.
Fair enough. What about midfield?
Midfield, Bruno, Joe Linton and Tonali. The king is back. The Italian slayer is back.
The stallion.
I hope he lives up to the expectation because the jury was still out for me when Tonali, you know, and all the revelations came about and he was banned. Let's see what happens. Barry, what would you do Wednesday?
I won't say I'll bet you, Steve, he's getting good because I won't say that.
No. Listen, the guy was captain. The guy was the captain of his, you know, captain of his team. He was an international player, and you know he came with great pedigree. But you know, let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm going to reserve judgment until he gets some serious games under his belt.
And he goes
Barry, go on, mate. What would you do on Wednesday?
I think Spenny's right. I think we've got to go for the strongest possible team we can stick out. I think it's something Newcastle fans are desperate for. This is probably our greatest chance to get anywhere near a trophy, as we proved last season. I think other higher up teams or stronger squads are more interested in the FA Cup than they are in the League Cup. So I think we've got to go for it. I mean, my only difference would be I would maybe have the likes of Sanusi on the bench instead of all the bloody defenders. We still seem to be like really strong defensively on the bench when we need potentially people who can change the game. I hope Spenny's right about Tonali. I'm similar mind to Steve. From what I remember, when we only had one decent game against Aston Villa, I didn't really see anything else. So I'm hoping he is this big saviour that's going to come into the team and perform well. But the other thing I remember is Eddie Howe couldn't work out how to play him alongside Bruno, which seems to be the same sort of issue they're having at the minute. I'm hoping, like mad, he's done enough during the time he's been away to get the system.
About a year to work it out, Barry, hasn't he?
Well, that's it.
A year to work it out.
But we'll still say that about a lot of the positions, Ian, you know what I mean? He's had a long time to sort out the left-back position. We still haven't got a quality left-back in the team.
I thought
Paul might well get there. Target's crap. I watched him in the game against the under-21s against Sunderland. He was terrible. So he's not getting anywhere near the team. We've played Dan Burn there. We've now got Kelly playing there, who's not a left back. I mean, the Trafford one for me is a joke. We've got, if there is anything in that at all, we've got so many other areas we need improving rather than getting a bloody goalkeeper. It's like Spenny might be right. Pope might have an injury, but is that not what the Greek guy for? If not, then we're making a farce of the players that we've signed already.
Bought the Greek guy because of PSR.
Yeah,
PSR. That was a in
It's a mate way.
Anderson, the Forest. That's why we got that Greek guy.
Would you say Trafford's any better than him?
Yes, I would. And he's used to playing with Gordon, and hopefully this Gooey comes because he's played with Gooey in the under-21s as well.
So I wouldn't sign Trafford in a million years. If I was going out for a keeper, I'd have bought the guy from Valencia. I'd have paid the extra money.
I know, but he's not Premier League proven, though, is he?
But Trafford's not.
He's twice the keeper Trafford is.
Trafford isn't. He played all last season for Burnley, man.
But when you get relegated,
I mean, the guy at Valencia.
He got relegated. He got relegated. That was defense shit and goalkeeper.
He got dropped more in the season, though.
Right. So he hasn't played the last 2 games, has he? I wouldn't touch him with a barge ball.
All right. Well, we've veered off Steve's question a little bit, George.
Sorry,
but we're talking about, we're not talking transfers. We're talking about what you would do on Wednesday night, George. And you know, are these two results, a win and a draw, you know, are they the kind of results that would make you suddenly go, hold on a minute, we're going to change things and you know, risk, you know, our place progressing in the cup, especially when we've got an away tie to another Premier League club. I mean, for me, I think it's quite simple. I think you look at the result at the weekend, you look at the performance of the weekend, and you probably make a couple of minor alterations. What I'd like to see him do is rest Anthony Gordon. For whatever reason, Anthony's not playing to the same standards as he did. I'd like to see him start Harvey Barnes, and I'd like to see him rest probably Lloyd Kelly again and revert back to having a Hall at left back. That's the only two changes I would make. If there is a doubt in Nick Pope, then obviously you need another keeper in. But Nick Pope looked fine to me at the weekend. So those are the only two changes I would make. I would go for a strongest team. I would go for a strongest team. George, what would you do?
Strongest team. Simple answer. The other thing is you better do well in the cups. I've painted me bloody rattle again, black and white. So first time since 1955. So it better be worth it. No, the strongest team that we've got. How can it afford to get dumped out of the cup early? And league form being the way it is, if we're not in the top 4 and still in the cups by Christmas, how's gone for me? PIF will just say goodbye. End of. I think that's been in my view. Well, you know, it's been my view since the end of last year. But I'd play the strongest team we've got and make sure that we get through. I'd might experiment with some of the youngsters on the bench, as somebody's already said. The Sanusi or whatever they call him is worth a try, untested, but could do something special in a game like that especially if we're in the lead. Tonali needs, Kevin said it, he needs minutes now on the pitch. And I don't know if you lads have been looking at any of the videos from the club. The one thing it has changed, his physique is enormously different to when he left. His thighs and his upper body have changed shape enormously. Yeah, you're right, Spenny. He looks like a bloody bodybuilder now. So, you know, we're going to see a different Tonali. But doesn't worry me. He's a world-class player. You know, as Steve said, he's captained his country and captained a big team in Serie A. So he's got something about him. So I want to do that, something about him for us. So whether he starts or whether he goes on the bench, he's got to be involved, I think, against Forest. But the strongest team is the short answer to your question. I wouldn't want anything else because we don't go through this week, then Howe's got a real problem in my view. And it's one of the routes to silverware for it. And we're going to give it up easy. That would be an absolute nonsense. And I don't think our new owner's putting up with that either. So, strongest team, just to make it short and sweet.
It's a big welcome back to Barry's doors. Great to see them. Lots of people thinking he was hiding some kind of mysterious plan behind, but it's just the doors again.
He's even dressed him as well, Steve. He's got a coat hanger on it today.
He has, yeah. He's got it.
Well
Well done, Barry. Given the fans.
Coat hangers, have you not seen Georgie's fucking ironing behind him there?
All done by my own hands.
He does it all himself.
All right, Ian. What do you do? What do you do Wednesday, mate? You're in charge.
First
What would
thing
you
is I've just dug them out on the adverts. Luckily, you've got so many adverts, Steve. I had time to get up in the loft and root around.
You're rubbish.
You live in a
rubbish.
Got his clippers. Got his clippers.
Rubbish.
They're out of battery at the moment, so they'll be on charge.
Well done, lad. Well done.
Finale for me, it'd be the biggest kick in the these Italian Wellex if he doesn't get a start this game after 10 months not being able to play. You know, so you start Tonali and see how he goes. He needs the minutes in his legs. He's quality. When you seen, I think it was Tino that did like a Q&A, and he was asked about all the different players. One word. I'm sure it was someone will still correct us if I'm wrong in the chat, but I'm sure it was Tino, and they said Tonali, and he turned around and just went machine. So sorry, I'm just laughing at that as well, Baz. Machine. So I don't think there's going to be a problem with Tonali's fitness. I think there's a difference between being fit and being match fit and then being Eddie Howe fit. I know, but there's the only way we're going to get him back on the pitch is by playing him, and this is a perfect time to do it. If you can't do something at 90% against Notts Forest, then I'll be surprised. I would play our strongest team. We've got enough. We've got the two cup competitions in the league. That's it. There's no Europe. We're not going to have the same issues. We've got a stronger squad than last season. Admittedly, like the squad is stronger. We need to still get them few players in, and maybe get the young lad on who I was raving about in the pre-season friendlies who looks decent. Get him Sanusi or whatever he's called. Get him on as a second half. So I'm just looking here.
And Ali's a machine, and Zanussi is a washing machine.
Washing machines live longer with Calgon. Sorry, there are other washing machine cleaners available.
Yes, they are. Well done, lad. Well done. You're getting used to this broadcasting thing. It's all the moonlighting you've been doing. Anyway, Darren, you're last. Going to bring some negativity to the podcast. Go out on a moan. Go out on a groan. What would you do on Wednesday, Darren? Thank the God.
First of all, I wouldn't give a monkey's what Nottingham Forest is going to do. I'll make them worry about us. So I couldn't give a monkey about Nottingham Forest. We're the away team. We're a team we want to win. I would change the team a little bit, like I'd fresh up, like Pablo said. I'd play Hall, Lloyd Kelly, and Kraft and Trippier. And I would play Tino, Bruno, Willock, Gordon, Barnes, and Isak up front. That's I think that's what my team will be, and just go for it. And like I say, hopefully the first half will do better. And go, you know what I mean? That's we must get through, because like I say, if we go out, Eddie Howe's going to get him on some stick. You know what I mean? Okay, there's a drink with George and Eddie Howe got the top four. We had the season to be sacked. That'd be harsh. I don't think they're a top 14. Like I say, we need two players to be a top 14, if that. So that's my starting team on Wednesday.
Has anyone else noticed that Daz has been a lot less negative tonight? He's been quite positive, and I don't know whether Daz has had a good weekend.
I think there's a woman involved.
Lady.
There's a lot more women.
Beautiful lady that he was
Definitely broke his virginity
before we came on from
this weekend. Good on, Darren.
Come on.
Say hello to your new lady friend.
Switch the heating off Darren's face.
Smash some headboards this weekend, son. Smash some headboards.
And stick some hinges on your doors, Barry, in case Daz comes round. Darren, I'm on your side. I'm not negative. I'm realistic, says Mark E. So there you go. It's a bit of a compliment for you as well. And we've got two great messages. One from Paul Hastings. He says, Francis and Murphy would like to say a big thank you to all that's donated tonight so far. Much appreciated. Tune, Black and White Army. Thank you, Paul. Good luck.
What a dodgy lad.
And a question I never thought I'd see asked on this platform. Ian Brownlee says, do you think Oasis are getting back together after hearing Ian knock half the world away out of the park at the NUFC Matters Christmas do? Probably
no, but I'll tell you what, I was a little bit disappointed. I was a little bit disappointed that the Long Sands haven't invited me to come on as a special guest.
But they want people to stay though, don't they? They don't want to leave.
The invitations obviously got lost in the post, lads, but don't worry, I'll be there.
I won't be calling you Jeremy Badel next week anymore.
I'm back tomorrow night, 4:15, slightly earlier with Talk of the Tune. Me, Sid and Rob will be looking ahead to the Forest game and looking at a bit of music as well. But as always, thanks to Barry, Spenny Mag, Lee, Kevin, George, Ian, Darren. But thanks to you for watching. If you're watching on Twitter, on YouTube, and please subscribe to NUFC Matters. Take care. Good night.
Be on Friday.
Come on, tonight.
Cheers, lads.